Hey buddy, it's Mike here. Today we're talking about Octopath Traveler 0, and boy, what a great way to cap off 2025 with this game. Very great game. But that being said, in this review, I'm going to be very critical about it. I want to give you my brutally honest opinion. So if you find really harsh on it, I just, want to deliver something then a little bit different than everybody else is pushing out. I find there's a lot of praise for this game, but there's just some elements of these Octopath Traveler games which I feel it could be a bit better. But overall, this is an excellent game. Like this is definitely, one of the better games of 2025, and what a great game to finish off the year. So just like the previous games, you don't need to play Octopath Traveler 1 or 2 to understand the story. There's some mentions about the previous games, but again, it's each Octopath Traveler game is like its own standalone game. And yeah, they just use the elements from its previous game and kind of expanded on it. For example, now you can have up to 36 playable characters, which are recruitable. You have this really cool kind of like town builder part of the game. So just to start things off, so the game starts off with your kind of hometown Wishvale getting destroyed by raiders, and it's your job to kind of restore Wishvale to its former glory. You collect materials, you invite new people to your town. It's almost like a very light version of Animal Crossing. It's not as in depth, of course. It's really cool to kind of, start your town from nothing. And I find this is a very effective mechanic. Like, it fills that void that I feel like the previous games had. And you truly get a sense of progression as you find new characters, you build homes from them, invite them to your town, and, open different shops, and you get different bonuses from your town for having those shops. It's a great gameplay loop, and it's just a gameplay element that just enhances the whole Octopath Traveler experience. The story starts off with your hometown Wishvale getting absolutely obliterated by these three antagonists. And this story does an excellent job kind of building that tension, making you really want to stop these three main bad guys because they're just pricks when it comes down to it. Now, in terms of like other characters you run into, like your party members, I can't say they're as strong. Again, a lot of the times you find these party members, they join your squad and they don't say too much. And again, not huge expectations. They have 36 characters that you can play as, so I didn't expect each character to have these very in-depth stories, but I'm just gonna add there, like the character building from your team is not as much as you would expect. Maybe even in from your previous Octopath Traveler games where they had less characters. You still have that great pixel art graphics that you'd find from Octopath Traveler 1 and 2. And I did see a particular review, I think it was IGN or GameSpot or something. They're saying this game is kind of missing that color. I don't agree with it, and I think this is incorrect. I think the colors and the graphics are just as great and vibrant as the previous two games. And the graphics are just as gorgeous as Octopath Traveler 2. So visually, this game is definitely a treat, whether you're playing handheld on or on your big screen. Definitely a beautiful looking game. And the sound, the music in this game is absolutely beautiful, just like the previous Octopath Traveler games. These guys are really good at mastering that soundtrack and just having a song that matches the feel for each town. And yeah, they continue doing a great job there. So I actually have a big pro and a somewhat of a con when it comes to the storyline or how the story is delivered. First off, I really like how these Octopath games are really not afraid to touch up on these very sensitive topics such as slavery. You'll see a lot of games just veer far away and instead they'll talk about like identity politics or something like that. This game, they get on very sensitive topics, and I think that's a massive plus, especially in today's day and age when you have all these other games that are focused on identity politics and being politically correct. Octopath Traveler's narrative is more focused on being more hard hitting. But that being said, not all is perfect. There's some very awkward voice acting.
By the way, I saw something strange on the other side of the woods. There were some soldiers in red there. Maybe there's a battle going on or something.
Don't be silly, Ludus. That would never happen here. What would soldiers even have to gain by coming to a poor little village like ours?
Yeah, guess you're right. And even if something did happen, we've got the
Of
watch.
course, when you're playing an Octopath Traveler game, you're not expecting the best voice acting ever. Even the previous games, they had definitely some awkward scenes. I just particularly noticed it in this one because how long some of these dialogue conversations go, and some of the voice acting really doesn't lend to the actual story itself. The story itself and how it's crafted is very good, but just how it's delivered, and especially these super long cutscenes, eventually you'll find yourself skipping through some of the text here, which it's never a good sign in a game like this. But the overall, on a high level view, it's a very strong story. It could have been delivered a bit better. And it's also to go to say this is a very long game. It's going to take you, at least 100 hours, definitely more, to complete this game. So this game's a lot better in smaller bursts. You're not going to be, beating this thing in 1 week. This is a long-term game, which is great. You're going to get tons of value from this game. And you have the same grind. So, and if you don't like a grind, what are you playing an Octopath Traveler game anyways, right? This game delivers exceptional JRPG combat, and it has the whole break system, which is a lot of fun. But they also expanded on the combat. Now, instead of having four characters fight for you in battle, you can have upwards to eight. So you have your front and back row. Your front row is your attacking row, and your back row is more so like your row to kind of exploit enemy weaknesses, save allies from attacks. And you can actually switch and swap characters from the front row to the back row. So, for example, if you have like a certain character low on health, you can switch to the back row, give them some time to heal and stay safe from incoming attacks. So I'd recommend having characters in the back row that act differently from your front row characters. So if like you have a strong warrior in the front, it's good to have like a magic user in the back who can handle those elemental weaknesses. Now, the last differentiating factor that makes this different than Octopath Traveler 1 or 2 is that you actually create your own character. So you get to customize your appearance, although the character customization is very limited, but you can select your own class, and you have all the classes that you would think that you would have an Octopath Traveler game, like Scholar, Thief, Warrior. I'm actually playing as a merchant. And another thing you can customize is you actually start off with the belongings. Now you can pick three, and I wish I knew this when I started the game, but you can actually find the crested key earlier in the game, so there's not much reason to pick it. Nourishing Nut's definitely going to be like a permanent HP bump, with making it kind of the best choice. The Promise Charm, Fighter's Wristband, or Sacred Flame charms have really good stats, so I'd also pick one of those two alongside the Nourishing Nut. But yeah, I don't want to get too much into gameplay tips. I just want you to know in case you play and you don't make the same mistake I did. But otherwise, you can also get a favorite dish, which is just basically a consumable item which will give you a buff. Being able to create your own character and customize your character's class rather than starting off with a preset class really lends to the enjoyment factor. And it's overall quality of life improvement to be able to customize your character class. I just wish there was more options in terms of your appearance. And I want to particularly note that I bought this thing on the Switch too. I just love the portability of this game. It just feels right to play on a handheld, and it's perfect for those long commutes, or you have a long flight or something. This game just kills time. So, and another really fun fact about this game is that it actually used to be a mobile game, and they kind of made tweaks so to port it into console so it doesn't actually function as a mobile game. So I really love the additions to the Octopath Traveler franchise. Having that town building aspect, the expanse of 36 playable characters, having 8 playable characters per fight, it definitely expands on the Octopath Traveler formula. So this game is exceptional. And what a great way to cap off 2025. It's such a great game. If you can just get past some of those dialogue cutscenes and some of that corny voice acting, you're going to have so much fun and endless hours of gameplay with this one. And again, you don't need to play the previous two Octopath Traveler games, so you can definitely get right into this one. And like I said, the story is great. It's just that delivery, right? I feel like and not all the voice acting is horrible. You got some really good voice actors. Like I said, the antagonists will definitely make you hate them, and you'll definitely want to stop them. So There's very strong conviction to stop the enemies in this game, and a lot of games nowadays fail to do that. Again, if you're going to need to spend quite a bit of time to beat this one, but it's definitely value. It's definitely you're getting good quality content and a good quantity as well. So highly recommending this one. And yeah, feel free to leave a comment. I want to hear your thoughts. Are you having fun with Octopath Traveler Zero? Is it your favorite game in the series, or do you disagree with some of my points? Feel free to leave a comment. Yeah, if you like this review, please consider checking out my channel and subscribing. And otherwise, we'll see you on the next one. Bye.